If you pass away without an estate plan in place, the law of the state where you live when you pass away will determine how your assets are distributed among your spouse, your children, your parents, and in some cases, your other closest living relatives. State law attempts to predict how you would want your assets to be divided among those people, but of course that doesn't always reflect your true wishes. Many married couples that I meet with mistakenly think that their spouse will just receive everything when they pass away if there's no plan in place, and that is not always the case. If when you pass away you're married and have no children, but you have surviving parents, your parents would also be entitled to part of your estate. If when you pass away you're survived by a spouse and children, whether or not you and your spouse share all children will impact how much your spouse receives. If you have children with someone other than your spouse may receive less of your estate. If when you pass away you are unmarried, you've not had any children, and you have no living parents, your assets will be divided among your closest living relatives. These legal relationships don't always reflect how you would actually want your assets distributed. But you may already have some estate planning in place that would counteract that. For example, if you have retirement accounts or a life insurance policy, you've listed a beneficiary for those assets. And as long as that beneficiary is living when you pass away, that asset will be distributed to that person outside of probate. Your state's law of intestate succession also determines who would be in charge of administering your estate if you don't have a plan in place. That person is called a personal representative in Michigan, but other states would refer to that as an executor. The personal representative must commence probate by filing pleadings with the probate court, must also locate all of your assets, which can be a challenge if you don't have a list prepared that they can easily find after you pass away. They'd also pay your final expenses, any debts that you owed, any taxes that are due, and eventually would divide your assets among the individuals as specified by state law.